Great. Well, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you all for joining with us today. Welcome to the funding hacks that guarantee you up to $50,000 in credit within 30 days. This is an online webinar training masterclass extraordinaire. My name is Don Markland. I also have Anthony Vanacki with me as well. We're going to introduce ourselves in a second. I promise you, you are in the right place for a Thursday. You know, we're here on the East Coast Thursday afternoon. Some of you are on the West Coast, so it's your morning. Either way, you're in the right place because you're investing in yourself. You're taking the time to invest in yourself and think about yourself. So that is, I think that's awesome and important. So we're going to Anthony, I'm gonna actually request control so I can move the slides. Okay. Very good.
Got that?
Yep.
Beautiful.
There we go. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is why we are here. You know, we have on this call close to 50 or 60 different people from all over the country, as we just talked about. And there has never been a better time in our history to build a business. Never. And look at some of these statistics. And I don't need to probably explain to everybody on this call a little thing called COVID-19. If you don't know what COVID-19 is, you can just go to Google and look it up and you're going to know what COVID-19 is. But since the onslaught of COVID-19, some amazing things have happened. New businesses and startups have just started to shoot up almost as much as probably vaccines have. Not to make a political joke, okay, but that was super funny that I'm sure people are laughing at. New startups have shot up 900% since November of 2020. And look at this, look at the last bullet point. Since 2020, during that time, 380 out of every 100,000 adults have become a new entrepreneur. This is crazy. This has never been seen of in the history of the United States. I'm going to finish this like I said it. There's never been a better time to build a business. There we go. It wasn't allowing me to change. But here's some brutal facts that I think everybody needs to kind of recognize about starting a business, being an entrepreneur. It's not for the faint of heart. 70% of businesses fail in that first 10 years. And I think you all know this. Nearly 65% of startups that launch, a lot of times they don't have enough capital to make in their first year. They start off that napkin, right? They're this great idea, but they don't have enough money to make it through. Or they fail, almost half of them fail because they run out of money, they run out of runway. They don't have the cash or the finances to make it through. Now, I want you all to just think about it for a second. I said at the beginning, be somewhere where you can maybe take notes, be somewhere quiet. I want you to go in your brain for a second and just think through this. I love my idea. I love my business. It's my calling. It's my dream. And that's you. Okay, but which one of these are you as well? I don't know how to manage my time correctly. Maybe I'm not as focused as I should be. Maybe you have a full-time job and you want to do this as a side hustle, but you just don't know how to focus it. Or I don't know how to find new customers or clients. Maybe you don't know how to prioritize what you need to work on. You're like, oh, I'm trying to juggle like 3 balls plus have a kid or my 2 kids or have my spouse or something. I don't know how to focus it on. Maybe this one, we hear this one all the time. I have this idea or I have this business that I've started, but I suck at sales. I'm terrible at it. I just wish people could find me in my business and it would grow. Or maybe I'm just tired of being rejected. I try to get a loan or I try to get something. I've been rejected so many times. Don, I'm sick of it. That feeling is awful. If any of those bullets are you, I want you to just sit and think about that, because if that's you in any way, any one of those, this call, this next hour, you are in the right place. Even you Dallas Cowboy fans, you're in the right place. This is the right spot for you. The goals from this webinar is to illustrate exactly what you need to know for all of you, what you need to do to get your credit in line, what every one of you need to do to get that credit exactly how it should be to gain funding, to launch or build your business, because you're one of those bullets. And it's designed, we've designed this for two types of people. We've designed it for new entrepreneurs, for people that maybe you've got this idea, maybe you've written it on a napkin, maybe you sat with your friends one night and you had this brilliant business idea and you just know you want to build it, you know you want to launch it. This is perfect for you because you're going to learn what you need to do first in order to get funding. Or maybe you've got your business, maybe you started it. And so it's perfect for a seasoned entrepreneur or a small business owner. And you're like, look, I just need to get that extra funding to take my business to the next level. It's perfect for you. That's who this webinar is for. So if you're one of those two people, stay on and stay on until the end, because we've got something special for you for staying on till the end and learning what we want you to learn. Now, let me tell you about, for some reason, it doesn't keep changing when I click it. That's my fault. Let me tell you a little bit about who we are. This is my least favorite slide because me compared to Anthony, I look really, really ugly and it drives me crazy. So I'm on the left. If you can't tell, I'm the one on the left. My name is Don Markland. I'm a 22-year executive and an award-winning business coach. I've ran $100 million teams for Amazon, State Farm, CenturyLink, others. I'm an award-winning entrepreneur, international speaker. I was recently named the #1 business coach in Florida, and Yahoo Finance named me one of the top 10 business coaches in 2021. And I'm a Forbes contributor. And then on here is my good friend, Anthony Vanacki. I'm going to hand it over to him. Anthony.
Hey guys, thank you so much for joining. I'm very, very excited. And just to give you a little background about myself, I've been in the finance industry for literally over 20 years, right? I've been a loan officer, a processor, an underwriter, an analyst, or even a banker. So I guess you can say that I'm just starting out, right, in the industry. But I've helped generate and help business owners generate over $100 million in business loans, right? I've reviewed tens of thousands of credit reports in my time. I've been in the credit repair industry. We now are connected with over 500 banks and lenders nationwide. So you can say that I've been, a CEO of multiple businesses. I was even licensed in 30 states as a broker and a lender, right? And just to kind of give you a little flashback, this is where it all started. I was around 18 years old. And if you can see that beautiful guy in the picture over there, that was me when I was 18, right? So, but I can say it's really terrifying, right? Because what I thought finance was, right, was something very, very different back in the day. I was trying to build my business. I was trying to grow it. But of course, like any other business, you need funding, right? And it's very hard, right? This is where I started to look at my own opportunities, and I kept running into these roadblocks, right? So no matter what I did, no matter what I was trying to help or who I was trying to help, I kept running into these roadblocks, right? Where people were always getting denied. And the frustrations that mounted was not only for me, but even for my clients. And that's who I was really, literally trying to help. But, I have to understand, right? You have to do your research. You have to go through those trials and tribulations, and there had to be a better way of executing. So, this slide here, I wanted to say, we all have access to tools, right? But on the left side, if you have access to these tools, but you don't know where they're at, right? They're messy, they're in so many different locations, it's going to be kind of hard to, one, build a house or build a foundation or build a business, right? But if you're on the right side, where you can see that everything is organized, right? You know exactly where it's at, where to go. You need that exact wrench to be able to help with, solving that one equation, right? So it's really easily manageable to execute. So, how do you do it, right? And as I was building my finance company and helping people, I realized there was a tool set that was, one, very effective, right? Where I can become happier of executing and helping my clients get to that next stage. So this is where I created, the toolkit. I found this pathway to always get people approved. And that's when I realized, right? I realized that if you have the right tools and you know how to use them, that you can get people approved every single time. But you have to have the right tool set, guys, right? And so knowing the tools and the path and the combination of the two is going to be an amazing recipe for you guys. So this is where I want to come down to where we want to be able to let you know what those 3 secrets are, right? And so this is where we wanted to talk through and help you with that pathway that I was describing. So this is where I'm calling the 3 different secrets, right? And this is where we can simply how to increase your credit score rapidly within 30 to 90 days, 20 to 100 points. Okay, and once you have the credit score in place, right, is the value of the second secret where we're going to teach you how to stack, right? And we'll get into the definitions of what stacking means, but it's a leverage tool that's going to help you get to that next level. And of course, the third secret here is, how you can find the right guide or the mentor, right, to take you to that next level.
So let me jump in here and kind of speak about the value of these 20 to 100 points. We've been both working in finance now for 15 to 20 years, and I want you all to think of this as you for a second. I know in talking with hundreds and hundreds of different customers that most of you have made financial decisions. I know I have, where it's not always black or white, right? Where you've had to make a decision to pay a bill or not pay a bill, which sometimes impacted your credit score. And that was frustrating because you were penalized for that when a lot of times you were just trying to make the best survival decision. I know I had to do that. I've had to do that a lot. And a lot of times that makes you feel stuck. And it's frustrating. I know I spent nearly a decade in the tax industry where we dealt with people and talked with customers that felt stuck all the time. And I know Anthony's dealt with people also in the loan industry, and people over and over said, God, I just feel stuck and I just need a way out. And as we realized that people were stuck, that's where we created this program, the first secret around the first value of the first 20 to 100 points, to get people out of that feeling of being stuck. When you are not stuck, it's about learning that building your credit is a journey, not an event. And this is important. This is important, not just a mindset, it's an important understanding of the entire process. So many times when we're trying to build our credit, we start to believe that one little thing or one little change can jump our credit, but it's a series of activities that makes our credit move from that 20 to 100 points. And that's that pathway that we get on. It's not just like that one birthday party, like that depressed guy is over there on the right with the red balloons. It's a path. And as we stay on that path with each step, we get closer and closer and closer to the destination. And Anthony here is going to talk through a couple of things that you can do to stay on that pathway. And it's amazing what happens when you get on that pathway and the momentum that causes from it.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, and being in the finance industry for 20 years, and every single day there's new tools, there's new companies, new fintech companies that are coming up with very creative strategic ways for you to be able to help with your credit. And so I'm going to go into a little bit further on about some of the minimum requirements, but and actually I want you guys to write some of these points down, because Experian came out with this free tool called Experian Boost. You just literally log in, you can get a free credit report from either creditreport.com or Experian.com, and you can connect your utility bills in a matter of 10 to 15, 20 minutes, and instantaneously your scores are going to shoot up. Okay, so that's just even one out of hundreds of tools that we know about, from that. One of the second things that we use very frequently, right, to help people boost up their scores is authorized users. So I'm going to give you an example. So let's just say that I have you or a family member, friends, partners, whoever, have a credit card with a $10,000 limit. They have a $1,000 balance, and they've had that card for, let's just say, 5 years. If they add you as an authorized user, your scores can essentially, on average, from 5 to 30 points increase in a matter of a month, right? Whenever that closing statement date comes through. So if you add yourself to 1, 2, 3, of these authorized users, and if the primary user has the card, then of course everybody's going to think, oh, they're going to use my credit card. No, if you don't have access to the card, it's going to be zero risk for your authorized user holder. But every one of these different tools is going to be stacking up your credit, right? The activity that you currently have is going to help you get to that next level. So if you're able to increase your score 20, 30, 50 points, add some Experian Boost, add another 5, 10, 15 points, of course, with all these other ones, that's going to slowly get your scores to increase. You need positive and active accounts here. So there's multiple ways, right? And some of these fintech companies that are coming out, there's ways of expanding your credit, even getting cash and accounts right now. So even if you're at a 500 credit score, right? And if you're in credit repair or you just don't have any open accounts, there's ways of building it, right? And a lot of the old school ways, either you get a secure credit card, right? Put $200-300 down and then slowly build that up. Or you can get some of these starter accounts and they'll give you $100 or $200 or $500, whatever, right? You want to get strength to your credit. So here's a company, right, to give you one out of the hundreds that we know about. It's a company called Tomo. So you can see that there's no credit history required, from $100 to $10,000 that's going to be added to your credit. So you're going to ask yourself, well, how do they approve, right? What factors, what data points do they look at to give you up to a $10,000 loan amount or credit limit? And so it's a very interesting concept. They're going to connect with a company called Plaid. We'll look at your last 3 months of your banking history, right? Your daily average balance, your beginning and ending balance, right? What do those deposits look like? And so if, little side hack, right? We love to hack the credit systems here with our company. But if you cycle money through your bank account, right? You have multiple deposits. At the end of the month, instead of paying that bill on the 31st, you pay it on the 1st, right? Make that bank balance look a little bit stronger. And so by beefing up your bank statements and you apply with them, they're going to look at that 3 months history and you can get up to a $10,000 line without even with a 350 credit score. And so there's so many of these new fintech companies coming out, right? We have to stack the different pieces so that you can get that activity. And with history and age, it's going to rapidly increase your scores. So,
and here's the key. In addition to all these things that build your credit scores, there's another added bonus, which is momentum. I don't know how many of you on the call have ever tried to lose weight. Heaven knows I've tried to lose weight about 1,000 times. I've tried to lose weight. I've probably failed 1,001 times. But when you're trying to lose weight, it's hard, right? And one of the keys is you got to get on the scale. And I love this picture because it's what the feeling is like when you get on the scale and there's no progress, right? But when you start to see a little bit of progress on the scale, when you're putting in all this work with calories and getting in the gym and doing all those things, and you start to get a little bit of movement, it creates momentum. And that momentum starts to really create power and momentum and momentum and momentum. It's amazing. And that's the key of what happens when you start getting this movement and you start to see these 22,100 points, and you do the things that Anthony just talked about, like Experian Boost, like the piece with Tomo and all these pieces, it creates momentum in your credit journey. And we talked about the pathway, not the event. It creates all this momentum in your finances. And that's what's key, because you start to own your entire credit pathway and you start to take ownership over the whole piece of your financial and wealth future.
Yeah, I know.
And as we
But
go
see-
ahead.
No, yeah, sorry. It just, this slide is important because it realized it wasn't just some clients, right? The model works for everybody. So no matter what your situation is, you have bad credit, you have collections, you have a bankruptcy, you have, zero open accounts, or even if you have a 800 credit score, right? Everything here, there is a pathway to get you to your goals. And if that your goal is for funding, or if it's building your credit, right? Everybody's at a different part of our lives, but there is a solution for every single one of you guys.
I love that.
I had to interrupt.
No, I'm glad you did. Here's an example of one of our actual clients that you can see where initially they came in with a 517 score and followed exactly what we talked about. In 3 weeks, their score went up 200 points, right? And going through, it's everything we just talked about, and went from 517 up to 723, a 200-point increase. We're talking about real results, and everything we're talking about is not hypothetical and just theoretical. We're talking about real results, real fast. Now, everybody's different, but when you follow the plan and you follow things that really work, they have to the credit bureaus, they have to follow the rules. And that's why we teach it this way. That's the value of the 20 to 100 points.
So just a little real quick backstory about this client. He came up to me. You can see he had 0 open trade lines or accounts, as we call it, right? He had $6,000 in collections. It was 4 collections. Within 7 days, we removed all of those collections, right? So what happens? He's at a 4 credit score, which Credit Karma 4 means 0, right? You don't have any data or records on your report. So as you're, so if you're building, if you have all these negative items right here, right? So once you clean it up, you're back at being 18 years old again. So we clean up the past, we need to start building the future. So what we did is that we added 1 authorized user and we added 3 primary accounts. And that's how the manipulation of the credit went from a 500 to a 700, which this guy came up to me and said, hey, I need to buy a car, right? I'm renting Ubers and spending 10 times more than what I need. And I need some money to start my business. So we took these paths, right? And we're able to manipulate and get it to that point all within 3 weeks. So it's a great case study of just examples of what we're able to do to help you with that path.
Now you're probably thinking, okay, the inquiries is a problem, but most importantly, if my credit score is at 500, does that 20 to 100 points really help? And this is where I want to make sure everybody understands, right? We don't teach luck, right? We don't teach rolling the dice. What we teach over and over and over again to every one of our clients is a system that works for everybody. Yes, you can try the long-term system, and I absolutely believe in paying your bills on time and budgeting, and we long-term always preach that. But following this system of using exactly what we talked about, of hacking it the right way and using Experian Boost and using the authorized user system and everything Anthony talked about, gets you momentum on the path and moves you up quickly. It's a consistent method. We stop using luck and help you win. That's why we do it. This is where Anthony's going to talk about some of the minimum requirements. Go ahead, Anthony.
Okay, so I actually want you guys to write this down. Okay, write this down because reviewing thousands of different credit reports, right? And one of the biggest challenges that I see is, hey, you guys want to borrow $50, $100, $200,000, right? But when you look at your credit, you have barely anything on there. So you want to have the bank lend you 50 to 100,000, And typically you have to age that for about 2 years at minimum. So let me go through some of the minimum requirements that banks look for being an underwriter and talking with 500 banks and knowing exactly what each bank's requirements are. A lot of it comes with a pattern, right? So we need to establish a minimum of 3 to 5 revolving accounts. That could be credit cards, lines of credits, right? Those are all point and typically unsecured, right? So the difference between secured and unsecured. 1 to 2 installment loans, right? So we need a mixture of different trade lines, what we call them accounts, what we call them trade lines. So that could be unsecured cash loans or auto loans, which is a secured one. So if you have a mortgage and auto, great. But if you have unsecured loans, it really strengthens your overall profile, right? So to give you an example, so it's not only about the mixture of credit and accounts, it's also about your strength. So if you have an average of $5,000 in total accounts on your credit report, and you want to go and apply for, let's just say, for some additional credit cards, the bank's going to look at all that history. How many cards do they have? And what's the average limit? And that's where they're going to base their new approval for everyone. So they'll give you $3,000 to $7,000 average from that. But if you have an average of 20,000, then they're going to give you anywhere from 18 to 25. And every 3 to 6 months, you call them up, say, hey, can you increase my score? Do a soft inquiry, and just kind of working the limits there. The same thing with an unsecured loan, right? So we like to see a minimum around $30,000 to $50,000 in open accounts that have been aged for 2 years, right? That history is a big part of your scores, right? How you get from a 500 to a 700, that was fresh. But imagine if right now, if you added additional accounts, you'll probably be about an 800, right? So write this down, take a picture, because this is a great foundation of what we teach to help you get to that $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 loan amounts, right? To help really jumpstart your business. So the truth is, it's not necessarily about your credit score. It's that what determines your ability to get the loan, right? What's behind it? What's the strength, right? The mixture that we just spoke about is a very key component to help you get to that bigger amounts of funding, right? You see all those billboards with, I'll get you funds, quickly. But if your personal credit isn't there, you're going to get very, very little. So the first secret for building credit and winning funding is understanding the value of the 20 to 100 points and using the simple tricks to financial experts to gain momentum on the credit journey, right? It's a very important, statement here. So now I want to stop and just now that I give you some of that foundation, right, of credit. And of course, these polls that I'm going to be asking you is all anonymous, so I won't know who you are. So I'm kind of curious let me launch this right now. How many open credit cards and installment loans do you guys have right now? If you look at your credits, right? I'm not looking at closed, looking at open, right? And I don't care about the limit right now, but just to give you a good poll of what's out there. It's like we got a little bit of a half and half here. All right. We got 28 people, 30 people who's answered. Do student loans pay prominent? Student loans is a very interesting category. And honestly, I think lenders don't really look at student loans. You have deferments and you have all these different variables with what counts.
Yeah.
I would discount it honestly for that. I mean, it's good to have that mixture, and I'm not saying it doesn't help, but for the most part, it's not the same strength of that. All right, just another 15 seconds left, and we'll go ahead and move on. Okay, so far we got 26 people, 26% that have 5 or more, open accounts. We have some here that have 0, about 21. So yeah, so look, the dominance of the group so far is definitely, less than 3. So we need to hit that 3 to 5 credit cards, 1 to 2 installment loans, right? Should be about 6, 7, 8 at minimum, right? Really increase those scores. Great, thank you for sharing. All right, is my camera?
So let me talk to you about the second secret about stacking. How many of you, again, I want you just to look at those bullets if you felt this way, and you can throw it in the chat. You can just say yes, right? You put an emoji, right? You've ever been nervous about applying for a loan because maybe your credit history, right? You've been discouraged, okay? Because you've been unable to get a loan because of your low credit score. You've been frustrated because it's been easy for other people to get a loan, right? It's just been like, what the frick, right? That's ridiculous, okay? I mean, I know that feeling. I remember, this is no joke. I'll tell you this tiny story. My wife and I, we had only been married 5 years, and we were going to apply to get, we were trying to move to get our first home. And I didn't even know that I had a 515 credit score. And I had we were applying for a, like a pre-approval, and I got an email from the loan officer saying, I don't even know how to help you. And I remember sitting there in bed next to my wife was asleep, looking at that email, so embarrassed. I didn't even know how to tell my wife, right? Like, I don't even know. I felt like a failure as a husband. I felt like a failure as a father to our 2 children at the time. It was horrible. It was horrible. So I know every one of those feelings, every single one. And now I want to talk to you about not only how we solved it, but how to take advantage of stacking. How many of you know what, well, I'm going to talk about this. We realized that momentum, what Anthony talked about at the beginning about gaining momentum, it wasn't just enough. There had to be a second accelerator to take it to the next level. So how many of you know and remember what Legos were? I'm sure many of you played with Legos as a kid, right? Some of you were like that little girl, right? We're playing with Legos. Okay, now I remember when I was a little kid. Okay, thank you. Some of you are chiming in saying you played with Legos. I loved Legos when I was a kid. Okay, now look, you are looking at one of the most awful Lego designers when I was a kid. I was horrific with Legos, but I loved them. I love that. We had Hayes. He said, "Hell yeah." Okay, he's getting enthusiastic with the Legos right there, and I love that. Legos were great, endless creativity. Now, if you look at Legos, you can do one of 2 things. You could be the top person, the top kid. Now that was me at the top. I was a freaking mess, right? I always had that bucket. It was all over the floor, right? My parents always stepped on it. They were always pissed. Okay, or you could be like my man at the bottom with the boss Millennium Falcon, who was just crushing it with the Legos, which always seemed like it was my brother Ben, who could just nail whatever it was with Legos. That's what Legos could do. And what was the difference, right? It was the blueprint, right? You could just always, if you had a good blueprint, you always followed the plan, you could nail it. And Legos were always about knowing how to stack. Credit stacking works the same way. It stacks your credit, you build your funding faster. The exact same concept of Legos. If you follow it the right way, you'll build it the right way. Anthony's going to talk about how credit stacking works. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, all good. So, again, as a definition of stacking, you can see we're stacking different approvals, simultaneously. There's a whole art between how we get these approvals, right? If you understand the psychology of what the banks look for, then what we do, we look at your profile and we look at the bank's requirement and we try to match them up as close as possible so that we can get you approval. We're very laser focused on where to go, and how to get you approved, right? We don't just throw things to the wall. Hey, hopefully it sticks, right? Run up a whole bunch of inquiries, et cetera. But if we know that you're prepped and you're ready to go, and we can say, okay, we're going to go to Bank of America, we're going to US Bank, we're going to go to Wells Fargo, boom, 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 right? We'll get you that, in this scenario, we got 76,000 for this client, then we got him between four accounts. If you want to go through a round 1, a round 2, a round 3, we can get as much as 5, 10, 15 approvals. And so if the maximum that, let's just say that you qualify for is, $20,000, but you need 100, what do? You just walk away and hopefully beg the streets to get funding? No, they have to be creative and getting you to that finish line, right? So we'll go to 5 different banks and get you to them, because that if you had that 100,000, what would that do for you and your business, right? That money to jumpstart to get you to that next level is how we can achieve this right now. So I was saying before that we're connected with over 500 banks, right? And this is very essential because everybody here is at a different part of their financial profile, right? Your business credit, your personal credit, your financials. And so there's a lender that will fit for everybody's scenario, right? Like Tomo, if you're starting out or you have little credit, it's a great resource to get that and start building it. But what happens if you do have, a 660 or a 680 or above, right? The stronger your credit score, the more the doors open up more for you. Okay, so this is essential. The research that we've done for the last 10, 15 years, we have compiled it into a program that when you run through our audit, we say, okay, this is the best 5 or 10 different banks that's going to best fit to get you to that $100,000 loan amount that you're looking for, right? That's the power of how we can help.
Now you're probably thinking like inquiries are going to crush you, right? You hear that all the time. Or I've been rejected, right? How is that going to work for you? That's why the 2 secrets work so well together. We get your credit moving up at 20 to 100 points, and then we stack, right? You learn how to stack correctly, stack by little increments. Think about how Legos work. You stack to build the tower, right? And that's why it works in conjunction. You got to have both secrets to build the tower. You got to have the blueprint. And that's why the Lego metaphor works correctly. And that's why my brother was so much better than me, is because he knew how the blueprint worked and he could build the freaking Millennium Falcon. If these things don't matter when you have the map and you know how to use it and you can build the right credit profile.
And just to add in real quick, guys, in the type of loans that we get our clients, 0% for 12 to 18 months, right? You want an installment loan, cash loans, equipment loans, 4 or 5% for 5-7 years, right? That's sustainable debt, right? Low payments. Use that money for your benefit, right? So the difference between that. So wanted to add that in there, Don.
That's perfect. Okay. The truth is, when you learn how banks work, remember, they have to approve people. That's how we do this, okay? When you master the rules, you always win. That's the value of stacking. I want to tell you just a little bit about Robert and Ann. They were a client of ours with Deliver Capital. You can see, Anthony, tell a little bit about Robert and Ann and what we were able to do saving them from bankruptcy.
Yeah, no, 100%. This is a client that actually had a limo company, and I'm not sure if you guys understand or know about the merchant cash advancement world, but again, it's predatory lending for businesses. It's not the best option, right? It has a purpose, but you can see this guy had OnDeck, Kabbage, PayPal, all of these different, he stacked, right, himself, but he stacked the wrong type of loans. And, looking at his personal credit, she's like, oh man, this guy has charge-offs, his high increase, he's maxed out on credit cards. So when your business debt is maxed out and your personal debt is maxed out and have derogatories, what do? Right? So what we did is that we said, hey, do you have anybody, any kind of friends, family, partners, coworkers that can be your credit partner or co-signer? And his wife, right? We looked at his wife. She had high inquiries, removed those, right? There was a lot of different things how we optimize the credit, but going through the process of helping the husband with the credit, helping Robert with his credits, right, and helping embedding his wife within his company to get the funding, right. So the combination of the 1, 2, 3 step allowed them to get $60,000 in business credit cards. Business credits didn't show up on your personal credits. Took some of that money, paid down some of his merchant cash loans. We get him $150,000 in personal loans. Right? That also helped paying off all that. I mean, I'm not sure if you remember, but look at all these monthly payments, right? $1,200, $2,000, $1,600, $1,500. You're paying what, $10, $15, $20,000 a month for just a little amount. So the combination of that, and once we optimized that, we got him a business line of credit from a major bank, right, for another 100,000. So again, 200 or 310,000 from somebody that wouldn't have, no bank or institution would touch this file because of the creativity and how we organized it. We got them to their finish line, right? You can see what would happen. So we fixed their credit, got them the funding, put in people together, right? It's a lot of work, but it was a journey, and we just saved him from a bankruptcy.
The second secret, I want to make sure you all hear it really clearly. It's using stacking, taking advantage of it so banks can see you are worth more, and then they have to follow the rules. They must give you larger amounts. And some of you on this call want those larger amounts. So we build your credit with the first secret, and then we take advantage of stacking to get you the larger amounts. Now, I want to talk about the finding the right guide. Some of you can see the characters on this screen here. These are some of my favorite people. Yoda, Mary Poppins, Mr. Miyagi. I hope some of you are Cobra Kai fans. We've got Mickey from Rocky, Mufasa. All of these people have in common, they were mentors, okay? Thank you, James. All of these people are mentors. They guided somebody. Okay, they guided somebody in their life. It's some of the most, now I think most of the people that they guided ended up dying, okay, which is, or at least all these people died or something, they disappeared, which is sad, okay, but they were all guides. And there's something important about having the right guide that can tell you where to go. You avoid mistakes. You learn so much from that. Let me tell you a little bit about my cousin Andy. That's who that super suave guy is on the left. See, when I was a kid, we used to go camping at Gooseberry Campground. And we used to, and Andy was 8 years my senior. He was the coolest freaking kid ever. And you can see how freaking cool he was. And I idolized him. And one time when we were camping, we got lost in Gooseberry Campground. We were way, way lost. I mean, we were so lost, I was terrified. And Andy, being the cool kid that he was, helped me find the way back home. He was like, Don, you stick with me. And that cool hair, that cool smile, he walked me back all the way down and helped me find all the way back home. And when we got back home, I remember him telling me right there, saying, Don, when you stick with me, you'll always be safe. And I'll never forget that feeling of safety being with my cousin Andy and having somebody by my side like that. Now, all of you know the power of having somebody by your side. All of you know, and maybe that was a father, maybe that was a mother, maybe that was a friend. For me, it was my cousin Andy. And that feeling of being lost and having somebody there. But there is real power in finding the right guide. And I know that value. And I realized that having the right guide in my life was everything. And sometimes the difference between being lost and being on the right path and not making mistakes was having the right guide. And some of you, if you're like me, making financial decisions, choosing left versus right, if I had that right financial guide in my life, that might have made the biggest difference in all the world. And we want to talk to you about choosing. Here's a really quick tip, really quick tip. If any of you are going to choose the right guide, and this doesn't mean you have to choose working with somebody like us, like Deliver Capital, you can choose anybody. The number one thing when you're going to choose somebody to work with is look at their personal history. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anthony, what do you think about that?
I mean, 100%, right? You don't want to, follow somebody who hasn't been there, who hasn't done that, right? The whole element of a mentor is for them to help you with, you know, have them provide you the shortcuts of the trials and tribulations they've gone through, so you don't make those same mistakes, right? I can go and do it all by myself, but how long is that going to take, right? When is it going to be the point where I win? And if I have mentors, right, that's why people have, you know, board meetings and advisors and different people that they learn from, because they open up doors and they teach you what not to do because they've gone through it and they probably have failed numerous times, right? I love failures because I learn. But if I can get that knowledge from a mentor, then I don't have to suffer, you know, because of that though. So that's kind of my what I stand for, right? What I believe in.
And I always look at people that have done it. Right? I always look at people. You're going to see a lot of people out there that are saying, "Hey, or work with me, or listen to this." And then I look at their personal history, and I'm like, they haven't done anything. They haven't answered payroll. They haven't ran a business. They haven't gotten loans. They haven't done this. That makes no sense. I always look at people's actual personal history to make sure they've done it before I work with them. Okay. Now you're probably thinking, and I know this because I've answered these same questions myself. It's hard to find a mentor guide. I don't know what to ask. Doesn't it take forever? Isn't it hard? And the answer to all those questions is yes. And that's why the third secret, even though the first two are so important, they build on each other. The third one is you got to find the right people in your network. You got to find the right network or the right mentor to work with to guarantee your success. Now, you are one of these two people right now. You are either the beautiful corgi on the left, smiling and grinning and excited, or you're that girl on the right drinking from the fire hose. Okay. I don't know which one you are, but you're one of those two people. And whichever one you are, I want to talk to you about business funding hackers. Okay. It's because you're all here. I want to talk to you about a way. Okay. You're the girl on the right. Okay. That's fine. Okay. Some of you are both. I want to talk to you about business funding hackers. What this is a way to actually solve all three of those secrets in one fell swoop. If you're any of those bullet points we talked about, if you're looking to solve all those problems and actually get access to funding, if you're trying to get your business credit, you're trying to build that business, I want to talk to you about business funding hackers, the all-inclusive business funding, your total access to building credit, sourcing funds, and creating wealth. What the first thing we realized in building business funding hackers is every single person on this call needs a financial credit coach. We've actually found a study from University of Wisconsin-Madison that said having a financial credit coach has been shown to be one of the main contributors to producing a significant increase in personal wealth, business growth, and credit scores. So business funding hackers, the first thing we give everybody that's a part of this all-inclusive program is you get a dedicated credit coach. That's the first thing. Secondly, in business funding hackers, okay, we realized as we've been in this business for 20 years that credit scores change with time. Did you know, and I don't know if any of you know this, the FICO credit scores have changed 20 times. The rules have changed 20 times since 1970. Holy cow, how do you keep up with that? So you need access to the ever-changing world of credit and finance. So every person a part of the business funding hackers is going to get lifetime access to our Learn Finance Club. That is an online curriculum and course dedicated to credit. The lifetime access to the Perfect Credit Program, which is an online course that continues to add to how to build your credit. And then the Credit Builder Program, which is the Perfect Credit Program that is about building and maintaining perfect credit. Lifetime access to those three credit programs that we continue to sell to this day. Next, 10% of your credit score comes from credit inquiries. Anthony talked about this multiple times today in the webinar. Some of you on this call right now have had credit inquiries in the last month. Mm-hmm. And you get 10%, and understanding and managing your credit inquiries can sometimes cost you up to 100 points. So every member of the Credit Funding Hackers program gets up to 50 credit inquiries removed. Plus, you get a free Credit Max roadmap with a dedicated credit specialist. They're going to meet with you and map out your pathway to an 800 credit score. They meet with you and map that out, and then you get up to 50 credit inquiries removed for being a part of this program. Next, one of the biggest deterrents for getting funding in large amounts is the minimum, and this one blows me away, is the minimum of a 7% fee to a funding broker. Now, I want to make sure you all hear this. That's unreasonable. And as a member of the Business Funding Hackers Network, it's different, okay? You get a 100% discount on all broker-funded opportunities. I'm going to say that again. It's a 100% discount. There is no broker fee, okay?
What does that mean, Don, as far as 100% discount? If maybe I can.
So, yeah.
So, you know, guys, a lot of these lending consultant companies, they charge you a percentage of what they acquire for you, right? They do all this work and going from there. So with the Business Hacker program, we're going to get you unlimited amount of funds, right? We'll work and get you to the highest capacity, and we won't charge you any additional fees, you know, from that, right? So that's included within the whole entire package. Sorry, just wanted to clarify.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Okay. Last, or a couple more things. I know we're running on time. Is you're going to join a like-minded community of entrepreneurs and wealth-focused leaders. There's a study by University of New Hampshire that showed when you're in a like-minded community, it is shown to dramatically increase your performance and results. We knew that was important, so we added it part of the Business Funding Hackers. You're going to be part of a private Facebook group with over 100 plus entrepreneurs. You get unlimited access, support, and live video training. Now, there are two types of entrepreneurs on this call. There are those of you that are just starting out, you have your ID on that napkin. You don't want to waste time, energy of learning how to build your business, or you've got your business, you've started it, but you want to scale it faster and you need access to funds. You're one of those two types of people. I'm speaking to both of you. In addition to all of those pieces, we have our do-it-yourself step-by-step ebook on credit repair, and credit restoration. Plus, if your credit's in a spot where you need to get results fast, you're going to get a 50% discount on credit repair. Any one of you that need to move fast, you'll get 50% discount on that for being a part of the Business Funding Hackers program. All of that, look at that list. Now, we did an annualized value of this. We had a member of our team, Nick, work on this, and we showed it was 44,000 plus. If we just valuized all that out, I was like, holy cow, that's insane. Now, if this cost $10,000, I would absolutely justify all of it because it's 44,000 and you're going to get more of that from a funding perspective as you follow through of it. But I want to make sure every one of you know this does not cost $10,000, even though it's absolutely worth every penny of it. Now you're probably thinking, well, it's not $10,000, but I'm sure it costs $5,000. And I'll be honest, it is worth $5,000, but it is not $5,000. We believe in value. We believe in fairness, and we believe in driving results for every one of our customers. We've been in this for 20 years. For every one of the members, because you're joining this webinar today, to be a part of the Business Funding Hackers program, it is $19.97, or every one of you, you have guaranteed 12-month financing right now of $221 a month. That's $7.30 a day. That's your coffee a day. For your coffee a day, you can get all of the things we talked about, get access to the funding, get access to the lenders program, get access to the inquiry removers, 50 inquiry removers, and all those things and more. If you went to the market right now and got a finance coach, it's going to cost you $60,000 annually. All of you know this because you've looked at it. If all it did was help you get up to 100 points on your credit improved, got you more funding, got you a system that works, not to mention kept you motivated, okay, and kept you accountable, would it be worth you? Absolutely. And this is one of my favorite movies. It's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I don't know how many of you have seen this, but at the end of the movie, Indiana Jones has a point where he has to take a leap of faith, and all of you joined this call. And I would hate, the worst thing to be is you get off the call and you're the same person. You chose not to be this, you're somebody new. Don't get off this call and be the same person you always were. Be somebody new. Take the leap of faith and invest in yourself and go after your business, go after your dream. The last bonus I want to talk to you all about is everybody on this, when you join this program, you get guaranteed up to $50,000 in credit, $50,000 in business credit for this business for being in this program. Again, let me show you the link where you can get it. Okay. If for this 197, here's the link that you can do. There's a 60-day money back guarantee. I forgot to mention this. You're not going to see this anywhere else. Sorry, I know we're at time. Oh, thank you, Anthony. Put the link in the chat. Everybody on here, if you look at your chat right now, you can go there. It's $1,997, or everybody on this call gets guaranteed 12-month financing. It's $7.30 a day. I know I sound like I'm selling it, but it's because I believe so much in this program. We've seen it change lives. We've seen when people invest in themselves. Oh my goodness. It's amazing when you finally break the cycle of rejection and frustration. Amazing things happen. Now, there's one last thing. I know, Anthony, we didn't talk about us doing this, but the first 5 people that sign up and can throw it in the chat today, I'm an award-winning business coach. I'm going to work with you individually, the first 5 people. You'll get dedicated time with me, where I'm going to work with you on your business plan and building it up. So the first 5 people that sign up today, you got to put the chat in. I will work with you. Just make sure you throw it in the chat that you've signed up. I'm going to give you dedicated time on building your business, because you've got to take the investment. You've got to take the leap, and I'm in. I love people.
I'm going to actually match that as to the same point though, right? So, the 20 years of experience, I can see things that a lot of other people can't. So the same point, the same 5 people that start right now, I will also be your personal coach, and I'll walk you through your step-by-step plan on how to get to your finish line. We all are starting from some degree. Even if you have a 500 credit score, you have all these collections and elements. We have paths of getting that cleared within 2 to 8 weeks on average, right? The rebuilding of your credits, right? And once you have that, stacked to the point where you're now bank ready, right? I have a whole team that is dedicated to help you get to that finish line. That's what we're about. What can I do to help you get to your business needs quickly, right? That's what the whole company is about for Deliver Capital. If it's credit repair, if it's funding, if it's credit rebuilding, there's a path for every single one of you guys, and how to even build your business credits, right? Without even personally guaranteeing it, right? There's a whole ebook that we created that we're giving to you as a whole entire bundle. So
hey, I don't mean to interrupt you, but Mary just signed up. I'm working with you, Mary. Okay. So Mary, I'm going to work with you. Sorry, Anthony, I'm already grabbing Mary. She signed up. The $97, that's the financing. So it's $97 today, and then you're going to get the financing emailed to you so you can do that. Okay, Maisha, you signed up. I'm going to work with you. Anthony, you're going to have to jump in. You're going to have to be faster than this.
Looks like Barry is pulling right over, right, to go ahead and get this all done. And so, even guys, with the guaranteed funding of the 12-month financing, that actually builds a trade line for your credit at the same point. Okay, so it's $221 for the month. We give you a guarantee. If you're not satisfied within the 60 days, we'll just simply give you your money back, right? There's zero risk from that. That's how strong we stand behind what we can do, right? From using all those resources, all those lenders, we'll get you to that finish line, right? Or we simply give you money. If you're not satisfied, that's essentially what we'll do.
That's right.
Tabitha, looks like you're in. Tony, looks like sign me up. Let's see, Tony. If you guys don't already have it, the link is right there.
Okay, Noel signed up. I've got 3. Okay, very good.
At the same point, guys, for what other questions do you have? Is there something that you feel like there's a benefit of what we discussed today, right? From looking at all different quadrants of your financial profile, right? Your personal credit, your business credit, your financials, right? This is the recipe to get you to funding. Actually, just a real quick, question for everybody. How much money are you guys needing for your business, right? What is that number? The same point. How many of you guys here are startups? So the program is going to help you get to that, to those numbers that you're looking for, right?
There will be a replay that you all be able to watch. This this offer will be live for the next like 48 hours. Crystal, thank you so much for signing up. And then after the next 48 hours, it'll be closed. But I can't tell you how much I appreciate you at least attending, investing in yourself. The best move you can do is invest in yourself and your business. We've seen amazing results. Always the first movers, the first jumpers, the people that take that leap always win. Thank you so much for everybody doing that. And we will look forward to seeing you, Crystal, Mary, Noel, all of you. I can't wait to work with you personally and build your business. Andrea, thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. We will see you one-on-one and in the course. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.